Welcome to the stream. We're live, we're back on Train Sim World 2 tonight. Won't be too long of a session. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We carry on our Long Island Railroad journey. I think we have 6 left to do. I've done a couple off stream. New York Penn to Port Washington. Let's see where this one will go, because it won't go all the way through to Washington, of course. One can only wish. Right, so we'll be taking this as far as Woodsides. Get the brakes up to 90 or 98. Turn on the ATC, turn on the signaling breakers. We'll keep our lights at dim for now. I don't think we need anything more. We'll have that on the ready. Yeah, I'll switch sides, turn on the marker lights. And, well, now we wait. We're going to be here for a little while. Departing in 3 minutes or so. I'm not sure why Dovetail always... The time they give you to prepare is either too long or too short. Of course, it's not a problem. It's not as big of a problem being long as it is when it's too short. It's nice to kind of get the train set up in your own time. And then have the confidence that you're going to stick to the timetable. Got a train leaving to our far left. That looks like an M7. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure this is the M3. I find it very odd that we... Oh, this is interesting. I'm trapped. I find it very odd that we can't... Well, number one, I find it odd that we can't go through here. And number two, I find it odd that in America the trains don't... Well, I'm assuming... Most certainly these type of trains. I'm not sure about regional trains and... national trains, but they don't display the destination, so you're completely relying on passenger information screens to find out where each train is going, which I guess works. At the end of the day, it does work, but at the same time I think it would be nice to have that extra layer of assurance they are going to be going where you plan to be going and not a million miles away. I like that this train is actually quite weathered as well. I don't think I have any. I wish I could fix that mod. Hello, hey Matty, how are you doing? How are you doing today? Any flights? I'm happy that this train does look pretty weathered. I don't have any mods to weather the train, whether that's from the inside or the outside. So the fact that it looks pretty weathered naturally is a nice change from the usual showroom style trains that you get on this game. So that's pretty nice to see. Excuse me. Right, almost there. Just over 20 seconds to go. We should get to... Oh, this is a pretty short one. We should get to Woodside in about 8 minutes. 9 minutes, should I say. And it will be our only stop, so we'll be going directly there. Alright, Matty, how long is that going to take? San Francisco to Washington. 3-4 hours? Or am I way off? I got a pretty spot on last time. But then that one is easy, to be fair. Alright, let's get a move on. 70 limit on the ATC. 15 limit, I think that looks like. Track limit. So we'll be sticking to that for now. 4 hours, decent. Something to keep you occupied, eh? So with your sim, Matty, do you sort of like level up? Is there a sort of a career like progression thing to it? Or is it just, you know, kind of like freestyle? Let's acknowledge that. The ATC's gone down to 60. Our limit on that. It would be really nice if one day this route can be ported to be connected to Boston Sprinter. That would be really nice, because I'm sure at some point, well not I'm sure, I know at some point in the on the line they interconnect. And I'm sure Amtrak trains stop over here at New York Penn as well. Oh, okay, so Matty, so the grades then you kind of go through them, the more you fly the better you do. So it's similar to like a leveling up sort of thing then, I'm assuming. Hopefully the track limit increases soon. One thing I'm not too sure of is how... I mean, I've seen a few speedboards on this route, but a very, very, very few. If I'm not confusing it with that's the San Francisco route, I'm sure it's this one. But for most of the time, like for example there, I didn't see a speedboard, so I'm curious as to how a train operator would actually know when to change when the speed limit changes. Oh, okay, Matty. So landings is a thing as well. So does it matter how good the landing is? Well, you get more XP for a better landing, or a smoother landing, or do you just have to get the plane on the ground and you're good to go? I am starting to be a bit more comfortable with this route now. I mean, this is my 15th scenario, so I hope you know, you won't want to cope with by this point. But I think I said in a previous stream that it's very interesting. I find this very interesting. And when I say interesting, I don't necessarily mean that in the best of ways. I did North Transpennine before this, which I guess, given that it was set, I think, in the late 80s, if I'm not mistaken, things were a lot simpler back then, so I guess naturally it would have been easier, although the trains are a little bit harder to control. Before that, I think I did another, what did I do before that? Main Spessa Barn, I think, was before that. Again, that was quite new. Alright, Matty, It's good landings as well. I think if I was to buy a yoke and a throttle, I know there are quite a few out there, I would probably be happy enough to give Microsoft Flight Sim a go. I know that's not the one you play, but because I'm on PC, so that would be kind of like my best option. Again, the scenery in it is so beautiful, so beautiful. Microsoft has done such an amazing job with that. And who knows? I mean, right now, I don't see myself kind of playing it long term. But as the saying goes, don't knock it until you try it. So maybe, if I give it a go, I would like it, and I'd probably get into it. Well, let me. But for now, I am very happy to be back on Euro Truck Simulator. Oh, it's raining. That's going to make braking interesting, but we don't need to worry about that too tough, seeing as we're only stopping at one station, and we're only 2 miles away from that as well. I'm very happy to be back in Euro Truck. I've missed that game. It feels weird, but I think that's only because I haven't played it in so long. I know when I was a good 2-3 hours in to that game, once again I was back to once upon a time. So I think it would just take a little bit of time before I really get back into the groove of things. Put down to the speed limit just in time. I feel like either I've missed it, or the speed limit, I don't know, warning, whatever it is, sometimes comes on very late. Especially at one point where I think when you're going back down towards New York Penn, and you get a 30 miles an hour warning, and I think you're doing 60 at the time, and you have way less than a mile, almost half a mile, to knock your speed all the way down to 30, which even in completely imperfect quote-unquote conditions is very, very difficult. So I always find myself in the red for a little bit before I slow down enough. It's a bit annoying, but it's all good. Less than a mile to go now to Woodside. And then from here, a driver will take over and continue the journey to Washington. I'm sure it will be an express service, surely, right? I mean, I'm not too familiar with the geography, but I don't think Washington is necessarily close. So if it was a regular stopping service, we'd be going for hours. Once again, though, I'm not too sure. I'm not too familiar with the geography. Alright, let's knock down the speed a little bit. I still don't feel like I've necessarily mastered the braking yet on this EMU. I don't think I'm terrible, but I also don't think I'm mastered. The thing is, with different, you know, I mean, you can have, I mean, an EMU is an EMU, right? It's electric, runs on the tracks, stops regularly. So you'd think that, you know, they'd be close enough to one another, that, you know, I'd be able to switch confidently from one to the other. But I don't. Hopefully I don't get a penalty. 3 hours, Matty. Nice one. Have you got any plans for after? Anyway, you're gonna go from Washington, sorry. Right, smooth little. One thing I found as well is that you really have to go through the braking at times. Now it's fine, but I think when I'm in New York Penn, I'm really having to go through the notches just to get the train to a stop, even at low speeds, which I found a little bit weird, but part of the learning process I get. The thing is, I moved from route to route so often, from train to train, that I do wonder by the time I come back around to this one, if I'm going to remember anything at all. Can't say I'm too hopeful. Can't say I'm too hopeful. Right, that was short and sweet. Hopefully scored a gold medal. Right, that makes sense. It's only 13 minutes. So yeah, I think that was an M3. And the other one we saw departing earlier was the M7. So we've got 2 chapters there for the M7 when the time comes. And we've got 5 more if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So this is literally just a Port Washington to New York Penn. So this is going to be another very, very short one. Literally the reverse of what we've just done. This music is nice. Yep. Taking it over at Woodside once again and bringing it into New York Penn. This time in the snow. Very nice. That's where, I guess, American trains shine really. Even the Boston Sprinter, DTG wanted to target, well, make it more of a winter route. And you see why American in general I think looks beautiful in the white snow. Oh, okay, Matty. So you can take a little break. Any plans for any flights tomorrow? That should be it on this side. We'll head back to the front. And once again, a very long wait. We're going to be here for 10 minutes. We're going to be here for 10 minutes, which is a while. So this was pretty nice. This is pretty nice. The PIS, I think they brought this directly to Boston Sprinter. I think they're still working on changes for it, which will hopefully come soon. Hopefully before I get to it. I still have a little while to go. I say a little while, a long while to go before I get around to the newer routes. I think on a lot of stations in real life on the Boston Sprinter route, it's got red PIS. So hopefully they get to sorting that out soon. Also, London Commuter, or Brighton Mainline, as it should be called realistically, and as I think they were going to call it in the first place, is looking very promising. Very, very promising. I love it. Screenshots are looking promising. The small niggles that people are spotting on the forums, on the screenshots, seem to be getting looked at, seem to be getting sorted. So that's good. Hopefully that continues. The thing is, the more, and I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again, you know, the more that is shared with the community, the better the product will be in the end, because we get to see where they've gone right and where they've gone wrong with it, and where they've gone wrong we point that out to them and they fix it. Hopefully it's nothing big that needs to you know, that we need to wait for it to be sorted after release, which realistically most of them do happen to have that sort of wait time. So I guess it's a matter of chance really, but nonetheless, the more that DTG share of that line, the better it will be. And it builds the hype. And, you know, when we spot things and it's sorted, it builds even more hype, because we now know it's going to be even better than what it was initially. We know how well it's going to be done. We know how good it's going to be when it comes out. So I hope hopefully more screens. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there might be a stream later this week. The first preview stream. Here we go, the train coming. My money's on it being an M7. It's an M7 EMU. I don't think it is. I think it's an M3. It is an M3. So that could be heading, in that case, to Washington. That could be heading to Washington. Let's find out. I wonder what the, let's see what the PIS says. Alright, let's go to Hempstead. Let's actually see even where we are on the map. That would be interesting. So we're here right now. Right, so that train's going to go over here. So I wonder where the Washington route... It could be on the Belmont line here. Or it could be on the Hempstead one. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. I think all the trains on this platform seem to be going to Hempstead, so this might be the Washington. There we go. Port Washington. So any trains going to Washington then will stop right next to us. So we've got about 4 minutes, just over 4 minutes to go. It would be nice if the roads were a bit wide. You know, it's weird to just have the snow there. I mean, even when cars are driving over regularly, you still have the areas where the tires don't make contact. So yeah, that's weird. Anyway. But then again, this route is voiced over from the first train symbol, so it's one of the older ones. So I can't, you know, can't talk about it too much. Should get there 5:45. Decent. Decent. I feel like it should be a... I think it's just because of the trains I've played before or driven before. But I feel like it's a very simple startup process. Turn the key, sort out the reverser, charge the brakes. I mean, there is a little bit to do. There is a little bit to do, but it's nothing like it's nothing like the older locos, where there's about 20 different buttons that you have to press just to prepare the train to move. Matthew, you love those 787s, isn't it? I think the last time you told me the plane you were flying it was an 787. Or was it an A320? Neo. It must be pretty complicated to fly with 787s. I can't imagine them being exactly easy. I just realized what I've done. At 5:45 I was meant to be at New York Penn. Not lock the doors. I've just been here for 10 minutes. For literally no reason. And I'm going to be late. So not that I care too much about a gold medal, but I'm going to miss out on a gold medal. But I've literally just sat there for 10 minutes. And I said that we should be there for 5:45, and I didn't put 2 and 2 together that we were going to be here at 5:45. Damn, I really did that. Really, Matty? I'm surprised. But you did tell me they were easier to fly than the previous model, isn't it? I remember that from our conversation a few weeks ago. Is it easier than... Well, I doubt it's easier to fly than a A320, for example, right? I guess my logic in that assumption is literally just that the A320 is a much smaller plane. But in reality, I think it'd be pretty similar. Oh, I can't believe I've just done that. By now, I would have finished the route. I'm so tempted to restart the route just for that. But what's done is done. It's on record now. What's done is done. See, I feel like I had barely any time for that speed reduction. Barely any time. But oh, I can't believe I did that. Yikes. Yikes. We live and we learn. And now let's double check the next time about that. I don't like going right onto 60 miles an hour when the ATC on 60 because the ATC doesn't like me very much. It doesn't like me at all. ATC is a good ATC or is a good axis? Axis is different, right? Because I know the Boston Sprinter has a functional axis, this isn't functional. And I can't remember for the life of me what axis stands for. Really, Matty? That's blowing my mind because I've always thought to myself that the A3 whatever is always smaller. That's actually blowing my mind. We don't usually take this line, by the way. We usually go below. Both of them lead to New York Penn, but we usually I don't think I've ever gone through here. So the A330 and the B787 are the same plane. Two different manufacturers. But the same plane, which is what matters really. I had no clue. I actually had no clue. So why But is there there's an A320, right, which is much smaller than them, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's why, because I just heard A320 so often and seen them. If I'm thinking with the correct one, I think that's why I had the image of that anything with A, it was always going to be smaller than the 787. But you've told me something. Thank you. Thank you. I've learned something today. We might as well turn off our wipers now and turn the brakes off, seeing as we're going uphill. Whoops. That's one thing that annoys me as well, is that surely you would turn it to the right to increase wiper speed, and to the left to slow it down and then turn it off. I feel like that's backwards. And the thing is with DTG is that I don't know whether that's a bug that they're unaware of, or if that's genuinely how it is in the M3s and rollout. As much as this route had received quite a big update recently in the last few months, it's still pretty much plagued with bugs, and I mean, the sounds are terrible. I'm just happy to tolerate them, one, and two, I have no clue what is heard from an M3 cab anyway, so I guess that's sort of maybe the main reason for why it doesn't bug me so much. Something like the Bakerloo, that train annoyed me quite a bit because it sounded nothing like the real thing. It was way too muted, way too quiet. With it on an underground, any tube train that you take, there's so much drama and noise, and rattle and shake and everything, and disappointingly enough, that didn't come through in the route. There was a sound mod that definitely done a better job, but it's by no means perfect. But you know, I'm not complaining. It's, as much as it's not perfect, it's much better than what Dovetail gave us. So, you know, take it as it is. I'm assuming then that there's two separate floors to New York Penn, because we've gone on the upper one and we separated from the track. The track went below earlier, the one that I said that I take regularly, and the way we're entering into New York Penn is very different from the way the other track enters it as well. So I'm assuming, but I don't think why would that be a thing though? It could be, but is there really that much traffic then going through here? There has to be. I'm not too familiar with it, but there has to be. I feel like the music is very low as well. I might turn that up. It would really help if it had an XLR. The Go XLR. I wonder how much they cost. And then I guess I could widen what I do with my streams and all the sounds. Right, I'm gonna go from notch 1. Something about the station. I'm certain the brakes don't act how they act in on the rest of the line. I'm certain of it. It could just be me, but surely not. Like, I'm so sure. And I still can't believe I've gotten here 8 minutes late. I still can't believe it. When it's only taking me 8 minutes to get. Oh well. We live and we learn. We live and we learn. Like I said, now I know for next time to double check, triple check, quadruple check. I'm actually doing what I'm meant to be doing. It could have been worse, because if that was like a long route, if it was a long route, let's say for North Transpennine, I think you have 20 minutes between stations when you're doing the express route. But I could have been there for 20 minutes. Yikes. Jamaica to Belmont. Jamaica to Belmont. This might be a short one as well. We could have short ones all the way through. We could be finished this tonight. I didn't want to be on for too long, but I wasn't planning to come on either, if I'm being completely honest. Let's see. Master key on. I feel like the master key is backwards as well. That annoys me. So you got the wiper dial and the master key. Why does it go down to turn it on and up to turn it off? Nah, that's not just me, right? Surely not. I'm always gonna say that, aren't I? This is the rear of the train, right? Yes, sir. Have I ever been on a train for 40 hours? No. I haven't. 40 hours is a long time. 40 hours is a very long time. I think the longest I've been on a train. Probably not too much longer than an hour, if I'm being honest. Yeah. I think the longest route on the UK, which is the Penzance route, I think 5 hours? I might be wrong. I have 5 hours in my head. I have two numbers, 5 and 8, and they're quite different. I don't know why. Oh, we've messed that one up. I think it's 5. I think that's like the longest route in the UK, and it's 5 hours. But I haven't been on that one. Wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind. But they used to have well, actually, interesting enough, there is a route that's coming to Train Sim World 2, hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. Dovetail Games have a habit of announcing something way too early, and then you know, they keep us waiting for a good 6 months before they release the final product. But hopefully they release it within the next, let's say, 3 months. But I will be surprised. I will be surprised if they release it this year, if I'm being completely honest, with their track record, which I don't mind. I don't mind, as long as the route is of a good quality. That's my thing. As long as, you know, it can take all the time in the world. And this is why I mentioned on the forum quite recently as well. I don't mind something taking very long to be developed or produced. But one, don't have it, don't have us waiting just to delay, number one. And two, make it a good quality product. That's it. It's not much to ask for. Matty, was that from like one side of North America to the other? Because that's the only way that would make sense. 5 a week, that's a literal week. 5 days. Surely that's from one side to the other, because I know San Francisco is all the way on the left, on the west coast. So I'm assuming west coast to east coast. Oh really, Italiano? Really? Italiano, if you have, can you please tell me the wiper dial? Is it right to go? You flick it anti-clockwise to turn it on, and then clockwise to turn it off. is it actually like that in real life? Because I find that very odd that you turn it anti-clockwise to operate it, and then clockwise to turn it off. It could just be me. It could just be me. But I know Dovetail will have a bit of a record of weird and wonderful bugs in their product. So I wonder if it's actually like that. Hello, Bond. What's up? Welcome to this stream. Italiano, welcome to the stream as well. This is the Long Island Railroad route. This run is from Jamaica to Belmont. So not the longest one. Damn, man, all this to Florida. Wow. So did you get on a what trains did you ride then? I'm assuming at least part of the journey was on an Amtrak, right? Because I know Amtrak run long journeys, long routes. You know what I mean? That's one thing. There's one train I'm definitely looking forward to as well. Is the Amtrak when I get to the Boston Sprinter route. However, Axis is going to be something that Axis is going to be a whole new learning process for me. But I do tend to pick up on safety systems pretty quickly, so maybe I'll have a bit of fun with it after getting it wrong 1 or 2 times. But it will only be 1 or 2 times, hopefully. Spin left to turn on. Alright, Taliano. Thank you for clearing that up. I think that's, in my head, it makes sense to turn it clockwise, so right to turn it on, and then how we have a 15 miles an hour limit, and I've only just seen it. Right, we're gonna be speeding quite a bit. Luckily, we still have a little bit longer to get to the station. And another thing as well, which I find weird, Italiano, is that the master key, you push it down towards you, sorry, bring it towards you to turn it on. Whereas usually on UK EMUs and locos, you spin it either clockwise or anti-clockwise, but it's never away from you or towards you. Matty, Amtrak all the way. I guess so. I mean, I can't speak too tough, but I know they're very, very popular. Very, very popular. So I'm with you. Bond. I also was just I initially started out with just British routes as well, being from Britain myself. So I kind of understand them more. I have more fun with them, and it's a thing where seeing, you know, freight trains and underground trains and national road trains and southern trains, etc., 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 since, you know, I was young, and then being able to kind of drive them is pretty cool. But then I sort of, which I didn't see come in, but I got a little bit bored of them, a little bit, and I switched it a little bit towards the German and American side. Not like we have much of a choice in trains and worlds, but I love the. I think my favourites still are British routes. Definitely, and it's, I think it's always going to be a thing. I'll definitely enjoy the others in time, but all-time favourites. So that's why I'm looking very, 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 very much forward to the London Commuter / Brighton Mainline, which is what it should have been called. Okay, Italiano. So are they bringing in completely new stock then, or because I know this route also has the M7? So will the M3s be replaced by the M7s, or are they both going to be removed? Matty, 11 days, wow. So I'm assuming then, of course, you had like a proper cabin sort of thing then, with a bed and whatnot. That must have been very comfortable, very, very comfortable. That's one thing, to be honest, I would not mind experiencing. I'll be very honest. Probably like solo, just me, myself, and just experience it, really. To experience. Bond, that's very interesting you say that. I was literally running the North Transpennine journeys and scenarios before this one. And one thing that surprised me, because I'm usually like a very modern guy, I love modern stuff, right? I'd say probably the HSTs are the last sort of old school trains, and they've only just very, very recently been taken out of service. But you know what? I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed North Transpennines, and it's something that I didn't know I would enjoy. I didn't see myself enjoying, but there was just something about it being the kind of staple, like the Class 45 and the 47, just being a staple of diesel trains in Britain, and it sucked me right in. I'll be very honest, it sucked me in. Last one, Matty. So you were pretty comfortable then. You were pretty comfortable. M9, okay, Taliano. I don't know what they look like at all. I'm going to, you know what? After I finish this journey, I'm going to have a look at them. At that train. Yo, made by Kawasaki. No way. I thought Kawasaki only did bikes. No way. That's wow. All right. Oh, okay. So I'm assuming most of the differences then between the M9 and the M7 in the interior. I'm assuming the M9 has like a digital screen and a bit more advanced technology. I'm going to take a look at it anyway, for my own curiosity. I'll get it up on stream as well, so we can all see it. Sorry, I did not knew I muted myself. It definitely does look like the M7. So the pictures I'm seeing, it has like a sort of like a blue and yellow livery. Is that the new MBTA livery? Is that what that's about? I'll put it on stream for us to have a look. There we go. So, blue interior. Let's see if we can find an image with the interior. That is a huge upgrade. That is a very, very big upgrade. That looks very comfortable. Oh, and look where it's taking us to. It's taking us right to the forums. Right to the TSW2 forums. That looks really nice. Fair play. Fair play. That actually looks really, really nice. Let us remove that. That actually looks really nice. Fair play. Fair play. So are you going? Have you been driving them then? Have you been operating them? That would be really cool. Should I turn the music up a little bit as well? I know it's supposed to be like a backing track, but I don't want it to be too quiet. It's quite calming for me as well. You know what I mean? Looking at the M3's interior, the passenger seating and passenger space, it's definitely outdated. Definitely outdated. And you can tell, I think he said it was, they've been around since the 2000s, right? Early 2000s, yeah. But the M7's been around in the early 2000s. The M3 looks like it's a bit older than that. So are we talking late 90s then? Mid to late 90s for the M3? Either way, it definitely does look like a train of that era. Definitely. Right, Atlantic Terminal to Hempstead. What are we talking? Few stops. So we're looking at probably about 45 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Master key on. Let's charge the brakes. Let's actually. Mid-1980s, my god. I wouldn't have guessed. Let's put the headlights on bright. Some snow on the platform even though we're indoors. For the first time ever, I'm actually going to need to turn the cabin light on. I have not done that on a single route. I haven't needed to until now. Okay, I was very confused for a second. I would not have guessed the M3s have been around from mid-1980s. That's crazy that it's still knocking about. Okay, there we go. Right, marker lights on. 5 seconds left. Really good. I'm glad. I'm glad then that Dovetail Games have got it spot on. Especially as this was an older route from the first Train Sim world. So I'm really happy that they've actually managed to get it spot on. And that's the thing with DTG though, is that they can do it. That's what really annoys me. They can do it. And it's almost like they just choose not to at times. But yeah, look at it. It's very 1980s at the end of the day. That's literally what it is. It's, you know, I wouldn't say dreary, but it's not necessarily dreary. Just very, very, very old school. But yeah, I think what's the ride quality like? That's one thing I'm interested in. Are they pretty comfy or are they pretty bouncy? To be honest, Italiano, you're not the only one to have spotted some mistakes with the signals. I personally wouldn't know, for obvious reasons. But I am active enough on the forums, and there are a few complaints about the whole signaling system. So hopefully, one day they can get to it. One can wish, because with me, even if I don't know the specific details of a route or a loco, I still want to, in my head I'm driving the real thing. It's a simulation, that's the whole point. It's meant to be simulating the real thing. So I like things to be perfect, which of course is not always achievable, but as close to reality as possible would be nice. What was I talking about? I was talking about the M3. If you mean when I was talking about the passenger seating and whatnot, I was talking about the M3. Because I just had to look at it. I don't know how well you can see it on stream. But it does look very 1980s. As for the M9, I think that looks very modern. Very, very modern. Apparently, well, I say apparently, I think I could probably have worked it out myself, but the sounds are pretty off as well in the cabin. They're not exactly great, and it's a shame that no one's really made a mod for it. I think the British content gets quite a lot of attention, especially in terms of mods, because mods can save the day. You can have some really terrible sounding locos, and with one mod, it transforms the whole experience. Yeah, that's one thing. As much as it has taken me quite a while to get familiar, shall I say, with the braking system, the acceleration system I think I'm fine with. It's a braking system that gets me sometimes. And also, the ATC system, which, especially in Jamaica, I don't know at what point it goes down to 15, because the track limit will be, if I'm not mistaken, 30. If I'm not mistaken, it could be lower, but I know it's not 15. And then the ATC goes down to 15, and then I'm over speeding, and then I'm penalized. Right, got some speed up here. Still limited to 30 by ATC though. Thank you, Italiano, for subscribing. Appreciate it. I'm actually really looking forward to playing Boston Sprinter. I'm familiar with the what is it called? It's F40. I'm familiar with the F40 from playing the San Francisco routes, but I'm not familiar with the Sprinter. What Sprinter? The Amtrak train. The ACS, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be interesting. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate that, Italiano. Thank you. Hopefully I'll see you soon as well. I stream pretty regularly, so take care of yourself. Have a lovely afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Thank you for stopping by. Yo, Nerox, what's up? It's been a while. I was thinking about you the other day. I was actually thinking about you the other day. It's been a while. How you been? How weird is it that I literally... Matty, if you're here, do you remember that I said I wish I could have someone confirm whether, you know, this DAO, for example, is as it is in real life? So I can kind of know if you know, it's really like that, or if DTG just messed it up. And then an operator of this train in real life comes into the stream. What are the chances? And just confirms everything for me. What are the chances? I love it. It's great. It's actually really great having... I'm very good, thank you, Nirox. I'm very good. I'm glad to hear you're well. Still partying? I was going to say, it's amazing having that confirmation and information about trains and the like from people who really do this thing in real life. Because no one's really going to tell you how accurate something is or how realistic something is, like they are. That's great. It would be, I highly doubt it would ever come, but I guess it would be great for the M9 to show his face on this route. I'm sure it would come with a digital screen. This is all very outdated. But I'm actually happy that I've come to learn that it's a 1980s, well, it was released in 1980, so it's got that whole... I know it's not the right word, but I'm tempted to say theme. It's got like a 1980s theme, and now I've been told that, I can't get it out of my head, and it just feels so 1980s. This and the passenger area as well, and the all the seated, it all feels very 1980-esque. 1980s-esque. How have we arrived late? There's no way I'm over 1 minute, well, not over, but I'm about 1 minute late. As soon as we were stopped being held at 5 miles an hour, I went up to... Well, I was even over speeding at one point. That's weird. The next stop, East New York. Yeah, that's really weird. One game I was thinking of playing today was The Crew. The Crew 2. I haven't played that in a while. I was streaming that when I first started streaming and sorting out my stream stuff. But I think it would be a game I'd just stream rather than put videos out. I guess time to... Oh, well. It's a different time to when I was posting the Crew 2 videos before. But I don't think they would have gained any more popularity than they had at the time. And that wasn't very much. Yeah, Nerox, was it the first one? The first one. I really like that one. I never got a chance to play it. I would. See, I can't compare it to the first one. I wish I could. But if the first one was like a bit arcadey and fun, you know what? The new one is fun. I feel like it can get grindy. It can get grindy because you really have to. The way that the I have the developer's name in my head, but it's my tongue can't find it. Ivory Towers. The way the Ivory Towers are keeping it alive is sick. I'll be very honest with you, it's sick. They are to be keeping alive something that has come out so long ago. Like they're doing what a lot of other developers don't. But you know, you got all these events and activities, but you have to grind. And because there's so many players that still play it, you got like a lot of competition. But it is fun. I will say that it is fun. Liga racing. What's that? What's Liga racing? I don't think the Crew 2 has that, unless I've missed it somehow. Yeah, I couldn't say no to the second one. I watched so many videos of the first one, but it was before I had like a PC that I could game on. And I wanted it so bad, and I couldn't get it on the PS3 for whatever reason. I don't remember why. I think it was released on the PS3 as well. It was ranks. Oh, you know what? You'll probably love this one then. I'll be honest with you. You probably will like it. There's a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition, but there is like a specifically. There are races that are specifically tiered to rank-ins, but I don't think they're very popular. I haven't checked them out too tough, but every time I've kind of gone into the lobbies, they don't seem to be popular. Just mostly everyone grinding for like the main activities that are going on, because they're a weekly thing. So the rewards you'll get are like for that week only, and then you'll never see them again. Which some people are saying, you know, it's a bit kind of unfair, you know, if you've missed out on a week for whatever reason. For something that was so cool, that everyone wanted. You know, it would be nice to kind of give out those players that didn't get a chance to go for it. So yeah, that's one thing as well, is that they've, you know, there's not a million rewards that you get, you know, in terms of like cars and customization and whatnot that you get from these events. About 5 or 6 different things. But the fact that for 2-3 years now, if I'm not mistaken, they haven't repeated the same, you know, the same car or reward part. That's amazing in itself. That they've genuinely kept it fresh. I wouldn't even be too confident in doing up ranked races. I'll probably do it for a stream if it was requested, but the thing is with that game, it has its own physics. The thing is with the Crew 2 is that it's arcadey. That's known for, you know, by no means a simulator. But it just has the physics. It's its own thing. Like when I do play that game, I have to kind of tell myself, okay, I'm playing the Crew now, so the Crew physics apply here. Like you'll get a game like Need for Speed or GTA, for example, right? Two completely separate genres, but the driving mechanics are very similar in a way. So like there's always been this generic like driving mechanic in games where cars were involved, but the Crew 2 has one that's completely different to those, and it's one thing that's kind of put me off, especially when, you know, you use a steering wheel, which I was doing for like my videos. It's impossible to race with it. It's difficult. It's difficult. I don't really struggle to drive in any other driving game, which is ironic and it's going to say. But it's cool. It's cool. It's a good game. It is a good game. Just gets a bit boring too quickly, but then again, I'm not someone who chases after those events and the rewards. I don't really care for them. I was really bummed out because when they first when they first brought them in, I had just sold my PC at the time. Like, the game was so stale. So I don't really feel like I lost out on anything. And then a couple of weeks later, literally a couple of weeks later, they started doing this event thing, weekly event thing. And I was like, well, like, I missed out. And I missed out for a good year and a half or so. So I think if I was on it from the get-go, then I would have taken it more seriously. But I don't feel like there's much point. And I missed out on some really cool stuff. Really, really cool stuff. But yeah, nonetheless, I think the game itself is in its own league. The only real competition that the Crew 2 has is Forza. And to be honest, this year's Forza is looking good. It's looking real good. I'm going to try and pre-order the Ultimate version if I can. It's just pricey. Yeah, I had your Why? Why are you banned? How can you get banned from Forza? Trolling. I guess you could get banned from trolling. Was it from a were you banned from a Forza Motorsport game or Horizon? The only Forza I've played before, well, I have played that. The only Forza I've played so far was Horizon 3, and I love that game. I love that game. Like, I never really wanted much more than an Need for Speed that, you know, had first person and the ability. Well, you could drive around in them, but I don't know. The world is very dead in Need for Speed. So Horizon was like perfect. I remember I used to be so jealous of all the Xbox players before they brought it over to PC. That I got to enjoy was Horizon 2. Horizon 2 was amazing. I played it on a friend's Xbox. That was a game and a half. I really did consider getting an Xbox, and I've never been an Xbox person. Nothing necessarily against it. I've always just, you know, I had a PS3, then got a PC, so there's really no need per se for an Xbox. But I think if I had enough money for it at the time, I would have definitely bought an Xbox genuinely just for Forza Horizon 2. Maybe I could have tried to get into Halo. I feel like with that, it's like, you know, if you don't grow up with it, if you don't grow up playing Halo, you can't really get into it. I could try the online, like Battle Royale, not Battle Royale, but the online thing they got coming soon. I think it's a Battle Royale actually. Wouldn't hold my breath for it though. I'm actually very happy the stream hasn't lagged. Usually in tons, I would get a nasty stream. Like my game would be running okay, not necessarily the best, but the stream would be terrible. So I've changed my encoder to my to my CPU. I've changed the X264, whereby I was using my AMD graphics cards, which I've learned now from doing a bit of research that AMD's what's the word? Codec is terrible for streaming. So I can't wait to get my hands on an NVIDIA card. But I don't see, because I want to get 3080 anyway, and I already have a decent graphics card now, I don't see a point in buying a mid-range like NVIDIA card just to upgrade it a little bit later down the line. But when I had my 1080 on my previous PC, I was doing everything off shadow play, and it would record like perfectly. The one thing I've noticed, and I guess it's not necessarily uncommon, but is that the quality isn't as nice. Like how you're seeing it, it may be not necessarily be bad, but it's also not as I'm seeing it as well. But when I was streaming and recording with an Nvidia card, like I was so shocked. If you watch my I did a few videos on the Crew 2. There was one on the Crew 2 where I was driving the AMG race car, and if you watch that, if you're able to watch that in 4K, it was exactly, and that's gone through rendering, that's gone through editing, that's gone through YouTube's compression, and it still looks fantastic. It's just amazing. It's genuinely just amazing. Why don't you just say AMD in it works? Really? I was thinking, I never, I guess, was too serious about it, but I was thinking about getting a AMD GPU, the 6800 XT, if I'm not mistaken. But the one thing that put me off, because as with the processors, very, very good value. You get a lot for the money compared to someone like Nvidia. But the only thing that put me off is the equivalent, AMD's equivalent to ray tracing was really, really, really bad. Like really bad compared to Nvidia. But of course, Nvidia have had a few years or so to sort of better themselves. So hopefully, in a couple of years' time, AMD will also improve. But we're living in the present, right? So as it is right now, Nvidia absolutely shits on anything AMD has to offer in terms of ray tracing. So, and I like to play. I don't know if it sounds cocky, but I like to play like at the absolute best settings. At times, that's 4K maxed out. If I've got to do ray tracing, you know, if it's there, I'm going to use it. I'm one of the people who is more into graphics than frames. Hence why I'm happy with a. Whoops, I shouldn't have done that. Hence why I'm happy with a. Can I actually? Oh, what was I saying? This door thing threw me off so much I completely forgot what I was literally just talking about. But yeah, I think I said the majority of it anyway. Oh yeah, hence why I'm playing on a 60Hz monitor instead of a. Okay, thought so. Instead of a 120Hz monitor or 144Hz monitor. I think another reason why I'm okay with playing at 60Hz is because I actually haven't experienced anything higher. And I think it's one of those things similar to like when you see something in HD for the first time, you can't really go back to, not using HD. So I think as long as I haven't played, or as long as I don't play on anything higher than 60Hz, really? I was at 15 miles an hour. That's one thing that I'm not too certain with this ATC system, is that sometimes I'll overspeed, but then I'll bring it back down. And then after I'm on the limit or below, I get penalized anyway. Even though I acknowledge the previous issue and acted accordingly. Anyway, yeah, I feel like when I go to play at 90Hz, 120, 144, anything above, I would struggle to play at 60. The same way when moving from 30 to 60 was incredible. Like, I really struggled to play at 30Hz after playing at 60. And now my eyes saw the difference like that, whereby before they never used to be able to. So I'm happy for now. And I also play at my monitor is also 4K. So I guess when they release an affordable 4K 144Hz monitor, then I might consider it. Because right now, the only one, I think, that's available isn't cheap, to say the least. Right, hopefully ATC releases us very soon. I don't even want to risk going over 15 right now. And I really hope that I don't encounter that issue later on when I'm going faster. Because in snowy conditions, the emergency brake is not going to stop you. You're just going to keep sliding and sliding and sliding along the rails. Happened to me yesterday, funnily enough. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I had an emergency brake application at about 70 miles an hour in the snow. And it took me a good minute or so to come to a stop. It wasn't fun. And I'm late as it is. I'm late as it is. Got another M3 on the far left. Heading back towards Jamaica. I have no clue how the signals work as well. Because they're all yellow. So rather than looking out for the colors, you're looking out for the orientation. Are they in a straight line? Are they diagonal? Or are they horizontal? When I say straight line, I mean vertical. Because horizontal is also a straight line. And then you got the green and red anyway, which I only seem to see in the tunnels. So assuming they're used underground. And then you've got the other system, signaling system, used above ground. I don't know what determines ATC speeds. That's something I have absolutely no clue about. I guess I've just been learning as I've gone along, really. Hopefully another day Italiano can explain how ATC actually works. On the forums, I think there's a very detailed axes explanation. And I think Brandon, who worked on the Boston Sprinter route, is releasing a sort of manual / guide to the safety systems. Hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. But I think he's ironing out some of the route issues anyway on Boston Sprinter. So I guess whenever that's done, then he can move over to working on the manual. Entering Hollis. On a very, very slight gradient. Not shown on the brake and it's barely doing anything. I guess its purpose more so is to maintain a speed rather than actively slow you down. As such. Next stop, Queen's Village. We're about halfway or so. About halfway. So about 20 minutes, just under 20 minutes So we drew in at Hampstead. I think my YouTube stream is a little bit more delayed than I would like. Yesterday was alright, I was playing Warzone yesterday. And there was almost zero delay. I can't imagine I've done anything too different. I have messed around with some settings. None on the YouTube side though. Which is weird. Now slow down a touch too early. Definitely better than, I'd rather slow down early than run right past the platform. The sparks flying out of the walls. Which does look pretty cool to be fair, in movies. If I'm not mistaken, after I think we've got 3 more journey routes on Long Island, and then we're off to Germany for Sieg Nord, or RSN for short. To be fair, compared to some of the other actually the German routes aren't too crazy in terms of the naming scheme. I mean, Navaca, Dresden, if I've said that right. Off the top of my head, it's probably the most complicated, and that's not too difficult in itself to say. The stations, however, in any German route, well, I think every single one of them is a tongue twister. But not every single one of them, because you've got some easy ones. But let's say 85% or so of the German station names are tongue twisters. I'm glad I'm not doing any right now. I'd be stuck. Not too far now to Belarus. Due to then about 14-15 minutes or so. Well, 13 minutes, I think. Hopefully, I'm hoping that tomorrow I can enjoy some Euro Truck Simulator 2 once again on stream. I need to get some videos done as well, so I'll be spending most of the day, hopefully, that I'll be on streaming, and the rest of it try and make some content. And because I have the steering wheel out, hopefully I can do some more city car driving, and which I released a video very recently, yesterday. So if you haven't checked that one out already, feel free, if that's what you're into. To probably record three or more routes. What's up, Crazy Syrup guy? Syrup, I called you Syrup last time, isn't it? I'll call you Syrup again. What's up, Syrup? Over on Twitch. How you doing? So hopefully I'll record some ETS2, some city car driving. I think I'll hold back from American Truck Simulator for now. Or should I? I think I'll do one more run of ETS2 on stream. And then I'll do American Truck Sim the next time I have my will. Oh, and nice one, sir. You just released a video. I'll check it out after then. I'll check it out after stream, and I'll drop it a little thumbs up. What's it about? Yeah, my stream daily I think is better is in general. Sorry, it's much better. That way I can communicate with you guys a lot more efficiently, rather than have you guys waiting 30 seconds for a response or for a question to a question. I think 5 seconds or 10 or so isn't as bad, nowhere near as bad. Floral Park next, very close, less than a mile away from Belarus. Alright, sir, then I'll be interested in watching that. See, I think I'm one myself, so I'll compare you to myself, and we'll see where we stand. I'm a big nerd, but I'm proud. I love it. It's me, you know. I wear it proud. I used to be very ashamed of it and embarrassed, but you know what? It's me. And I'm here doing what I love, being nerdy. And I'm happy about it. I'm happy doing it, you know. If you're not comfortable in your own skin, you're not going to be happy doing something that just isn't you. So if you're a nerd, wear it proudly. Alright, timekeeping is getting worse and worse, but I don't think that's because of me. If I'm being very honest, I know I'm not. Well, I know I'm not driving perfectly. There's for example. But I'm also not driving too terribly. I mean, that's my first time I've missed the marker by so much. I'm actually not driving too badly, so I don't know why the timetable. So I think this timetable was more suited to summer weather rather than ice. Oh my god, this headlight scared the life out of me. That reflection just now scared the life out of me. Oh, look at that, we've got two M7s flying right past. See, if we weren't late, we wouldn't have seen that. Why won't the door close? Or did I just press the right one? I don't think I pressed the right button. I was going to say, I haven't played Mario Kart in a while. You reminded me. Timeless. That's what Mario Kart is, timeless. Never gets old. And never stops being fun as well, no matter how old you get. It's Sammy. Stuart Manor next. Was due there 3 minutes ago, but we're still 1.2 miles away, but it's alright. You know, I've never played Mario 64 like properly. I've played like some weird versions of it in like computer lessons at school to pass time. I've never actually played it like properly. But those like fake versions of it always look so cool. I'd love to play the real thing. I've missed out on a lot. I know I have. I don't really have consoles as a youngster. I mean, I had the first one. I had the PS1, and that was for a literal day, less than a day. It's for a birthday of mine. I don't remember which one. And because I had absolutely no idea how to use it, it was just returned. It was just given back and refunded. And then a few years later, I had a PS2. So my first proper console ever was a PS2. So you can ask me about that, about any game like that. So I'm sad that I missed out on the N64 era, where when Mario Kart really blew, and Sonic. I think Sonic was around that same period of time, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it? And it's like no matter how well they remake them to this day, it's not gonna have that same feeling that you had back then. One thing I'd love to do is purchase San Andreas from Steam, but a lot of the songs have gone off the radio due to the licenses expiring. They've changed a few things. They've basically ported the Steam version literally from the mobile phone version. So certain mechanics are very strange. Certain missions aren't exactly the same as they were. It's just weird, really weird. And so I'd have to get the unofficial version, let's say. It doesn't Italiano, it doesn't. It has on the sand patch route, you have I can't tell you the names of the trains off the top of my head, but you have locomotives on the sand patch route that go from Cumberland to Sandpatch. No, yeah, I think. You got Clinchfield that has the F7, and I don't remember the other train. But anyway, for the Long Island route, we're stuck with the M7 and the M3. I almost did the M9. I was saying after you left, I think it'd be nice if we could get an M9 DLC, but I think this route is finished. I don't think it's going to be revisited. They've already given it kind of like a last hurrah with a big update, and recently in the last few months that didn't fix too much. So yeah. So does freight run then on these lines, Italiano? Because I know on the Boston Sprinter route, as much as that didn't include any freight services, freight does run on that train, and there is a locomotive parked on one of the sidings. Can't tell you where though, for the life of me. But I've never known freight to run on this route as well. Right, well, Garden City to go. Country Life Press, and then Hempstead. That's it. This is pretty much the last leg. Six minutes late as of now. Oh, okay, interesting. Nayo. That's the first time I'm hearing of them. What color scheme do they running the locomotives. I know CSX, of course, have the blue and the silver. I know BNSF have orange and black. So when I think of American Freight, those are usually, I know Union Pacific run the yellow livery. Those are the three kind of images I get into my head when I think of American Freight. Nayo. I feel like I've heard of them. Maybe it was mentioned somewhere in the forums, possibly. I've definitely heard of them. That's quite a shame then that they weren't included. Would have been nice. I like having a mix of freight and passenger services. Sometimes it's nice to just go, and at the same time it's also nice to wait as well. Wait some and just see the passengers that trains go by you, as they of course have priority. I think German routes probably do it best. East Coastway, which is the British route, had passenger services as well as freight. But the freight route was just a bit too short for my liking, and it barely come across any passenger services. Which is what I think really makes what makes any route alive. You know, just seeing trains coming at you constantly. You know, stations being populated. That's a big immersion factor for a game like this. Because right now, you know, doing what I'm doing right now, it's just, and I know, especially for a New York route, this is it's way too quiet, way too quiet. Hello. Yeah, but I think there's a limit. If you keep people waiting too long, I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I think so my kind of like preference personally for train driver would be the tube, which is the well, guys, I guess you got the full subway. Subway trains here, so to get into them, they only hire internally, so you have to be working for the company already. So that's what I'm slowly working my way towards. So where I work now is still within London Underground, which is the train company. But my next step would be to be hired by them into any sort of role, and then when I'm with them for, let's say, 6 months, and a job vacancy comes up for train driver, I grab that. Same the 12 hours. So do you actually do 12-hour shifts then? Because over here I think they do 8. Train drivers over here do 8-hour shifts if I'm not mistaken. At least on the underground they do. Fortunately, yeah, see them quite a bit, talk to them a little bit. It's nice working in the infrastructure. But I feel like it's something, honestly, I would love to do. Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, man. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. That's what you gotta do in life, really, innit? Just work hard. If you want something, work. That's literally it. Nothing comes to you for free. I was gonna say I'm somebody who just kind of loves my own 8 to 9 hours. Yeah, makes sense. I guess you're never really guaranteed to finish, on the 8-hour mark. Could come across delays, train holding you up, signaling issues. So it's really dependent on all of those. I love my own space. So to be driving a train, which I would love. Being alone in the cab, which I would love. And getting paid well, which I would of course love. It just works. So hopefully, I'd say 5 years from now would be a realistic target. And like 5 years from now, I should be, if I really wanted to go down that route, because maybe my outlook might change. But I would definitely, if I could be there, I would definitely. I mean, just to kind of get where I am now, it's nothing special, but to kind of work on the infrastructure is not the easiest thing in the world to get. And I've been persistent since literally 2019, and I only got it this month, so it takes a while. But it's worth it. It's worth it for me. To say it's worth it is definitely subjective. It's worth it for me because I want it so bad, and I've wanted it so bad. So for someone who's just looking for that sort of job, but maybe not necessarily with that company, they may not necessarily see it necessary to wait so long and to apply for so long. Literally tell you on. One thing, it was really weird because now I'm getting up at 6 in the morning for my shifts, and it hit me, I think it was midway through last week, that even if I wake up tired and I haven't had enough sleep, or for whatever reason I just don't wake up feeling 100%, I'm not unhappy and I'm not sad. Like I'm happy to be waking up at 6 by how much sleep I've got and going to this job. Time goes fast, I'm doing 8-hour shifts, time goes fast. I'm enjoying it's literally not a job. Yeah, it's as you said it. And it feels weird because it's the first place where I felt like that, like this. So every day, it'll get to like 2 hours before the shift finishes, let's say. Because, on my other jobs, when there's 2 hours left of my shift, that's when I kind of start thinking, oh, finally. So now when I get to that stage, it's like, oh, already? How? But I've worked, I've genuinely worked hard. It's not like I haven't done anything. I've worked hard and for the right amount of hours, got there on time, whatever. Doesn't feel like a job. So the plan is to do the role for 6 months, hopefully. Hopefully less, but 6 months I wouldn't mind. And then move forward so then that I can actually be hired officially by the company rather than through an agency. So how long have you been doing it for, if you don't mind me asking? Italiano. I think the free camera acts like an actual person. Almost 3 years. Did it take you a while to do all the training and any necessary studies as well? "54 minutes. Rouge has taken about 45 minutes. It's unfortunate that the timetable doesn't adjust to the conditions. Right, we've got 2 more to go. 2 more journeys to go, and then we're off to... Where are we off to? RSN, Rösig Nord, if I've said that correctly. I think this is a very scenic route. Mostly freight up in the mountains. So this is going to be a very chill. The only thing is, it's a German route, so I'm going to have PZB, which I use, C4, which is annoying. But I guess, that safety system is on every train. I don't think it will have LZB. Everything German is just so complicated. But it's such a satisfaction thing with learning all these things. And I remember the first time I done a route from point A to point B with PZB on, LZB on, C4 on, and I didn't get penalized. There was no emergency braking at all. I felt so satisfied. Wow. That's harsh. That's harsh, but necessary. That's why there's so little train incidents, and that's like around the world. Yeah, dedication. It goes back to the whole passion thing. Of course you're gonna have to be on point, study hard. Remain composed. But you will take that in your stride. If that's what you want, you take it in your stride. I've got my qualification that allows me to work on the tracks, and that was a very similar thing where a few tests, not 20, there was a few tests, but yeah, you couldn't fail them. You couldn't fail them, couldn't afford to fail them. So that was sort of like, as much as I wanted to do that, and I did have passion to do, just to be anywhere on the railway, that did make me a little bit nervous. Luckily, I think I got 100%. So we thank God for that. Yeah, that's the thing. But that's the thing though, isn't it? With super dedication, I tried to, not signals per se, but I can do changing the rails, the ballast, the sleepers, any that sort of stuff. I don't do that, but I'm qualified to do, so I could kind of go out there and do it, basically. I can do that because a different qualification for roads that are above ground to the ones that are underground, and I've got both qualifications, so I could do either. Good money. With signals, there's a whole lot more money. One of my lecturers when I was studying, he used to do signals, and he'd get paid ridiculous amounts to just literally, at times, change a light bulb. But then again, that job is so critical. Signals have to be on point. They have to be working. They have to be running. That's what the whole system does. The whole network ends up in the muds if a signal has a faulty light. So that definitely piques my interest. I think if I move away from what I'm doing now and kind of go back, because I was kind of making that my main thing, if I go back towards track work, believe it or not, I was hired for about 4 months and didn't do a single shift. There was no work available at the time, and then the week that I left, 3 jobs came up. But yeah, I think if I did go back towards that route, I think I would study, because they're basically, what it is that you can add qualification. So I have a card, right? You get a card, and anytime you study, a little qualification is added to it. So I would want to kind of, my thing is progression. I love progression, so I wouldn't want to just have the card alone sitting how it is. So I would naturally want to achieve those qualifications. So yeah, I wouldn't mind doing signals at all. Another thing that's very financially viable is overhead wires, because of the risk associated and because it's quite an important job as well. They pay pretty well, and I think the industry is currently lacking people who work in that field and with those skills. And of course, pandemic hasn't helped, Brexit hasn't helped. You know, they've lost a lot of people, so it wouldn't be the silliest idea to go down that path. I've kind of had my eyes set on London Undergrounds properly, yeah, since I think 2016. So I think I'll remain here. I'll remain there for now. Beautiful evening, as beautiful as evenings come in Trains from World 2. Right, so this is pretty much the reverse of the route we just did. So we'll see how much time we save just by simply driving in clear conditions and not having to deal with ice and the like and moisture. See, Italiano, the thing is, everything that's like old, that's built old, is built well. Built very, very well. It's almost as if everything new is designed to break. The so the HST, which was a very, very popular train here in the UK, electric diesel locomotive, great noise, and it was wonderful. So the train it was taken out of service last year properly. I think it was last year or the year before. Like a staple in UK train culture, and it's been replaced by this new electric Japanese made, I think, units. I think they're originally been made by Siemens, and then passed on to a different operator company. And I personally have never rid them, but there was a thread on the forums 3 months ago, I think, and people who had ridden on the new train were just complaining about how uncomfortable, especially when you're sitting where the wheels are, how uncomfortable the ride was. An issue that the old train never had. And because there's so much technology in it, a whole lot more chance of it, you know, something going wrong and taking it to the garage for repairs, or to the depot, sorry, for repairs. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a 50-50, I think, you know. Good new technology, good technology. It's easy to use, safer. Safety is the main thing in the railway, as you know. So, big plus. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, maintenance is a very minor L in comparison. Decent sunset. We have someone walking on the track. Oh, we have a few people. Interesting. Interesting. Right, we'll just ignore that. And this line you see going across, I think it's caused by a mod of mine. So apologies for that. But I refuse to play this game without mods. I had to do it for a little while when the graphics engine was updated. Not something I want to do again. Italiano, what's the main differences between the M3 and M7? I haven't driven an M7 at all in this game yet, so I have no clue, other than of course the physical appearance of the trains. I'm not sure exactly what's changed. Also, the cold start on the M3 must have sounded decent. I know it's electric, but I don't know. All the electrics kind of like whirring into life, and anything else that makes a noise. But by no means is it a diesel. By no means. Okay, so I'm assuming that instead of this ATC and AXI system, so are they, and have they got the safety systems integrated as well, I'm assuming, on the screens? Oh, really? Alright then, okay. I'm gonna have to learn that as well then. Can't imagine it being wildly different though. I might be wrong. That means I'll have to learn that. And by the time I've done all the routes and I've come back around to this, I would have forgotten this one anyway. Ooh, okay. So a few little negligible differences then. I might take a little peek after this route. This might be my last route, last run for the night. So it might be that I'll take a cheeky little peek at the M7 after this one. I can't help myself. It's great. It's so great having like all these trains just here to look at and explore and listen to and drive. Like, technology has its downsides, but stuff like this is priceless. You know, it might not be perfect, but it is here. So you pull it towards you to brake. Sorry, you pull it towards you to speed up, and then away from you to brake. If I've understood that correctly. Which is how it works in the UK as well. Good, alright, cool. Yeah, that's exactly how it works in the UK as well. So I'm assuming that may be an international thing then, because in Germany, I think. In Germany, actually, sorry, Germany's completely different. Germany has completely separate, many of the locomotives have completely separate hands for throttle and dynamic brakes, independent brakes. I think on the London Underground, it's quite similar to this, but where it is now, it would be more anti-clockwise, and sort of that would be like your starting point. Then you push it away from you to speed up, pull it towards you to slow down. The thing is, a lot with a lot of the London Underground trains, not a lot of them. I think three at least that I know of, from three different routes, three different trains, slightly different trains, but different trains nonetheless. They're either completely automatic or semi-automatic, um, which split about. I feel like because okay, so the station that I work at, all the drivers do, and you know this has come from the staff themselves, is all they're trained to do even is just how to evacuate. They will get in a train, of course, log in, set the destination, whatever, and get to when the train gets to the station, they open the doors, they close the doors. That's literally it. And I don't know if I would particularly enjoy that. I guess maybe for a couple of months, if I eventually got in, then I wouldn't mind it, just being in that environment and being that, you know, driving seat of a train. But it's no driving. And I think after a while that might bug me. Like the Bakerloo line's fine because the Bakerloo line's completely manual. But then the Northern line, I think the Jubilee line are auto. And then you have the DLR, Docklets Light Railway, which is completely auto. There's no driver at all. You have maybe one, there's a name for them, but there'll be one person who will kind of go carriage to carriage, who will control the doors and check the tickets and the light. But then that's been like that since the beginning. I don't think the other lines were always automatic. The Victoria line as well is automatic. So quite a bit of the London Underground is run by automatic trains. And when I first heard it, or when I first found out, I thought it kind of sucked. But I guess in the grand scheme of things, that allows trains to run perfectly according to schedule. It's safer. And it's less stress for train operators. Still behind schedule, but I feel like we're doing a lot better than we were before. That person is shining very bright, Jesus Christ. If I could improve my braking and kind of start slowing down at the right places and, you know, not be going through a station at 5 miles an hour for 2 minutes, I think that'll definitely help my timekeeping. That's part of the route learning though, isn't it? And that is a process. I think if I had one particular route that I was so passionate about, then I could kind of learn it. But oh god. Really? Why is that? Is it just not a busy station? I mean, I don't. If this is modeled correctly, I don't think I'm missing out on too much. It's kind of unique, but doesn't look particularly special. Then again, that's if it's been modeled correctly. There's a YouTuber called PTG Rail, and he does sort of route learning guides. So I guess that, you know, worst case scenario, I could use his videos to and tutorials to help me. But I don't think I have the time for it. I don't think I have the time for it. Oh, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Alright then, enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your dinner. I'm due to have mine pretty soon as well. Bon appetit. Thank you for stopping by once again. So we're about halfway once again. I think it was at this point I checked how far we were into the route last time. And we're at Belarus. Oh, we're very close to Belarus. I think I just have to trust these brakes a lot more than I do. The thing is, I find them inconsistent at times. I think if they were consistent, then I probably could just kind of push them a little more. And that would kind of put an end to the whole entering the station at 10 miles an hour. Or stopping so, you know, so suddenly. I don't think my stream numbers are updated at all. So if you are here and if we haven't spoken, welcome. I hope you're enjoying the stream. This is going to be my last. This is going to be my final route run for the day. I will be back tomorrow with Euro Truck Simulator 2. Possibly Train Sim World. Possibly. But definitely Euro Truck. Feel free to follow or subscribe. Keep an eye out on the channel as well if you do want to see some Train Sim World 2. Because it will definitely come. It will definitely come. There's always a 50 miles an hour signal limit that catches me out. And I'm yet to learn exactly where it kicks in. So I've been trying to keep an eye out for it, but I haven't been able to perfect it so far. Certain it's on this side of Jamaica. It kicks in on the other side of the station when you're coming in from the side we're heading to now, but not until you hit the platform. Whereas on this side, it kicks in a little before you get to the platform. We just made it. We just made it. The thing is, I have nothing to go off. I didn't notice anything specific that I could kind of look for. So I know when to slow down precisely in the future. Thank you, Pan7471. Appreciate the subscription. How are you doing? How are you tonight? Sorry, I know I'm speaking a lot less. I'm starting to get tired. I'm trying to focus on not making too much mistakes. But I hope you're doing well. Once again, thank you for the subscription. Let's go. We're finally free. We got East New York to go. We have Nostrand Avenue, which I don't think I stop at very often. I think that's almost the first time I'm hearing it. And of course Atlantic Terminal, where the stream tends to go funny, but I've changed the encoder, so I guess we're going to see live whether these changes have had an effect or not. Alright, check time is going up. 80 is telling us not to go above 60. We're about to go a little bit faster. Once the back of the train clears the speed limit, there we go. Alright, this is where things tend to go funny. Hopefully everything stays smooth. Everything looks good, everything is good. Up to 70. Probably going to be on the ground for a while now. I don't think we stay on the ground until Atlantic, but we might. As I said, I don't remember stopping at Nostrand Avenue, so this could be a whole new way we've taken. I think we're the main branch. I don't think we've come off as a side branch. Let's speed up a little bit. Yeah. From what it looks like, the stream's still running very well. So if by any chance you're watching this and you have an AMD graphics card on your PC, don't use it to stream. Or should I say, don't use it to encode off the CPU, which should be X264. Right, we should be at East New York right now. 2 miles, more or less a minute and a half, 2 minutes off, by my assumption. 45 miles an hour speed limit coming up. That's not going to help. Slowing down nice and easy for this upcoming speed reduction. Yeah, we might definitely be more than 2 minutes late. It's not looking promising. Final stop. Almost there. Didn't end up running too late. As a matter of fact, actually, no, we might still be quite late because we've got quite a low limit later on during this underground portion. So that could put us back down to where we were. But we'll stay hopeful. There we go, we've got 5 miles an hour limit coming at some point. We'll stay hopeful. Hopefully we don't mess up ATC beyond this point. I won't be forced to any emergency brakes. Matty, it's been a long time, hasn't it? It's been a long time. How's the flight been so far? You enjoyed it? I'm about to come off now. We're approaching the last stop. I'm going to call it a night here. Then the next stream, train sim mode stream, I'm going to be off to Germany. I know, right? I know, right? That's why I said it's been a long time, because I can feel it. I can feel it. I remember when he told me that you had 3 hours to go, and I was feeling so fresh. But I'm so tired, I can't wait to hit my bed. Is there a lot of what to do then, or do you just kind of put it on autopilot when you reach a certain altitude and let the plane take over from there? Okay, yeah, makes sense. Anytime I watch like a flight sim video, that's basically the normal way to go about it, I guess. All right, Atlantic Terminal, a final station. We're going to be stopping at for tonight. Thank you so much for coming along. I've appreciated you. I appreciate you coming through. Brilliant conversations I've had today. Shout out to all of you. Next stream should be, goodness me, next stream should be on, today is Tuesday. I'm streaming tomorrow, but it won't be Train Sim World, it will be Eurotrot. And possibly Thursday evening, possibly. I'm due to be busy that day. If not Thursday, then hopefully Friday. I'll be back on Train Sim World, which I think coincides with the same day that London Commuter will be. Let me turn this down. I think it'll be the same day that London Commuter will be released. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, thank you once again for tuning in. Oh, okay, Matty, you still got some energy then. You still got some energy in you. I am done for the night. So we'll speak soon though. Hopefully tomorrow we'll speak again. And you can let me know how the next flight, how this flight goes with the landing and everything, and the next flight as well. But for tonight, thank you very much for tuning in. Appreciate you. And am I here? There I am. And see you next time.